welcome to Mindful Moments. You know, nourishing your mind on the go. And today we're going to be using our AI narrator to kind of do a deep dive into The Golden Rule. It's a novel by Amanda Craig.
Oh, yeah. This book is really something else. I mean, the story's going to grab you right from the start.
Yeah.
And you know it's going to make you think about everything you thought you knew about morality and revenge and all that.
So it's like a deceptively simple premise. You've got this woman, she's on the run from a marriage that's falling apart, and she meets another woman, and this woman proposes this pact.
Yeah, a chilling pact.
Yeah, kill each other's husband.
Exactly.
So imagine being so desperate that you'd agree to something like that. I mean, this is Hannah's reality. You know, she journeys to Cornwall to see her dying mother. And of course, she has to confront this deadly proposition.
Well, in Cornwall. Cornwall is like its own character in this story. It's like this landscape that mirrors all the turmoil that's brewing inside Hannah. Craig does a phenomenal job. I mean, she paints this really vivid picture of this region that's struggling to hold on to its identity.
And then you've got Jeannie, this woman who walks into the story, and she seems to have it all. You know, wealth, a stunning mansion called Endpoint, and a husband she wants gone.
Oh, but as Hannah gets to know her, she discovers that there's a lot more to Ginny than meets the eye.
Yeah, beneath the surface of all that privilege, it's like this darkness just as vast as the Cornish Sea.
What really struck me was how Craig uses these two female characters. You know, they're so different, but she uses them to explore this theme of power.
Ginny's wealth definitely gives her the upper hand.
Yeah.
But then you got Hannah, who's just so desperate. She's unpredictable. And that makes her dangerous.
It's a dangerous combination.
Absolutely. And then it gets even more complicated when Stan arrives on the scene. He's like this mysterious caretaker at Endpoint, and it just feels like he's hiding something.
He's shrouded in ambiguity. You're never quite sure, is he a threat? Is he an ally to Hannah? As their paths intertwine, you know, the lines between attraction and suspicion become increasingly blurred.
And their interactions, they're just charged with tension. I mean, you can cut it with a knife. And Craig is a master at building suspense as Hannah grapples with her growing feelings for Stan, all while wrestling with this pact that she's made.
And what's really fascinating is how Craig flips the script. Just when we think we have Stan figured out, she throws in this curveball.
It's a twist that had me reeling.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes us confront this idea that appearances can be deceiving. You know, even the people who seem the most vulnerable, they may be capable of wielding immense power.
And as Hannah gets closer to Stan, she starts to question everything. Is she falling for the man she's supposed to help get rid of? Or is this just another one of Ginny's twisted games?
And you're left wondering, who's really in control here? Who's pulling the strings in this deadly game?
Right. And that uncertainty, that not knowing, it's what makes the Golden Rule so gripping.
It's a reminder that power dynamics can shift like that.
Yeah.
And that trust is a fragile thing, especially when lives are on the line. And as Hannah digs deeper into the secrets of Endpoint and the people who are there, she realizes that the truth is so much more complex and dangerous than she could have ever imagined.
It's here where Craig's exploration of class comes back into play. It's not just about money and privilege. It's about these invisible barriers that separate people and what lengths they'll go to protect their own interests.
And what about Stan's work? I mean, he's a game designer. What role does that play in all of this?
His game Pilgrim, it becomes this fascinating parallel to the drama that's unfolding at Endpoint.
It's almost as if Stan's trying to make sense of his own life by creating this game. It's like he's blurring the lines between fiction and reality.
It's like he's using Pilgrim to explore all these moral dilemmas that he's facing in his own life. You know, and through this, Craig raises these questions, really thought-provoking questions about storytelling and how we use stories to navigate this complex world.
It's a layer of the story that adds so much depth and intrigue.
Right.
I mean, it makes you wonder if the answers to this mystery might actually lie within the virtual world of Stan's game.
And just when we think Hannah's getting a handle on things, her daughter Maisie comes to Endpoint. And that brings a whole new level of danger to the story.
This is where things get really personal for Hannah. It's not just about revenge or survival anymore. It's about protecting her daughter from these dark forces that are swirling around Endpoint.
Maisie's innocence, you know, it shines a light on the choices that Hannah has made and how complicated they are morally.
Suddenly, the consequences of her actions are so real. And she has to face the fact that her decisions could have devastating effects on her daughter's future.
And with Maisie there, the tension just goes through the roof. We know Ginny is ruthless, and Hannah realizes no one is safe, especially her daughter, in this twisted game of power.
The picture-perfect Cornwall that we saw at the beginning starts to crumble,
Yeah.
and it reveals this much darker side. And it leaves us wondering just how far will Hannah go to protect her daughter and break free from this dangerous web she's caught in.
That's a question we'll explore as we continue our deep dive into the Golden Rule. Stick with us as we uncover the shocking twists and turns that are in store for Hannah and discover how far she'll go for justice, love, and ultimately her own redemption. As the story unfolds, it becomes less about what's happening and more about, the characters and what they're going through.
It's like we're right there with them, seeing their struggles and desires and, all the tough choices they have to make.
Yeah, and one thing that struck me was how Craig portrays female friendships. It's not always pretty. I mean, look at Hannah and Ginny.
They connect because of their husbands. Abusive husbands. They found someone who gets it, someone who understands that darkness.
Right. But there's also this rivalry there. Like, they're both vying for power.
Ginny's got the money and the privilege, but Anna Ryda, she's got this fierce determination. She wants to protect herself and her daughter.
And then you've got Stan, stuck in the middle of these two strong women.
He's like a mirror reflecting their desires and insecurities.
His connection with Hannah is so interesting. At first, they're both cautious, like they don't trust each other.
But the more time they spend together, the more this real tenderness develops.
It's amazing how Craig creates this believable relationship amidst all the chaos.
You can't help but root for them, hoping they can find some peace.
But it just makes things more complicated. Hannah's torn. She has feelings for Stan, but she made this pact with Ginny.
And then just when you think it can't get any more tangled, Craig throws in this huge twist.
Yeah, we find out Stan's not who we thought he was. His past is dark, and his connection to Ginny is way more complicated.
It makes you question everything you thought you knew about him. And Hannah has to rethink everything.
What I found really interesting was how Craig uses the setting. Cornwall.
The rugged coastline. The isolation, it all adds to the feeling of unease.
It's like the landscape reflects what's going on inside the characters.
As the story moves towards the end, you're on the edge of your seat.
Will Hannah escape Ginny's plan? What will happen with her and Stan? And Maisie. Oh my gosh, Maisie.
The tension just keeps building.
But the Golden Rule is more than just a thriller. It makes you think about what it means to be human, about the choices we make.
Craig's characters are so real, they make mistakes. They act without thinking. They have their own problems.
It makes you think about your own values and what you do to protect the people you love.
And Craig's writing is just beautiful. She paints these vivid pictures with her words. You feel like you're right there.
And she never loses sight of the bigger picture, the themes of wealth and privilege and the power of love and hope.
The Golden Rule is a book that has it all. A great plot, interesting characters. And it really makes you think.
It's one of those books that stays with you long after you finish it.
So we're at the climax of the Golden Rule.
Yeah.
And the tension is just incredible. We've seen Hannah struggling with these impossible decisions, but now it's really intense.
Yeah, I mean, with Maisie, everything changes. It's not just revenge anymore. It's about a mother's love and how far she'll go to protect her child.
Maisie's so innocent. It makes Ginny's plan seem even more cruel. And Hannah starts to realize that what she did could really hurt her daughter.
And you know what? Craig does a great job of using Maisie to explore the idea of vulnerability. Endpoint seemed like a safe place for Hannah, but now it feels dangerous, like a trap.
And there's that scene where Maisie wanders off. She's attracted to the beauty of the coast. But, Ginny's capable of anything. It's terrifying.
This is where Craig's writing is so good. The suspense is so real. But she also shows us these moments of humanity. Like with Stan, he's been through a lot himself, but he still risks everything to help Hannah.
Their search for Maisie is just a race against time. It's like a fight for survival. And the storm makes everything even more intense.
It's like the storm represents all the chaos and the secrets. And the truth about Ginny finally comes out.
It's an amazing climax. We see Hannah confronting her past and fighting for a future where she and Maisie can be safe.
And Stan, his role in the ending is really interesting. Craig doesn't give us easy answers, but she shows us that people can change even after they've done bad things.
The Golden Rule really makes you think. It's about relationships and secrets and the power of love and forgiveness.
But it's also about Cornwall, the beauty and the darkness of that place.
If you're looking for a book that will stay with you, this is it. It's a story that will make you question your own beliefs and leave you feeling hopeful about the strength of the human spirit.
Definitely pick up a copy. You can find a link in the show notes along with some other resources that we think you'll enjoy.
And if you like this deep dive, subscribe to our channel for more discussions about books and ideas And share this episode with your friends, especially if they love suspenseful thrillers. Until next time, keep those minds nourished.